What's up, guys? Here. So now we're moving on to another reaction video here today. Let's take a listen. This one's going to be Bad Wolves Learn to Live. Once again, links in the description if you would like to check out any music that I create. It is in the description here. I'm more of the new wave of American heavy metal, that kind of style. So if you're into that kind of music, go ahead and check me out there. It's all self-produced. I didn't pay anybody for it. It's all shit I did at home. With me and my computer. I programmed the drums. That's about it. Everything else was played. I played the bass. I played the guitar. I did the vocals. All of them. There's many vocals on the record. So, short of that, let's give a listen to Bad Wolves. I'll go back on some of my history of what Bad Wolves is. I honestly have heard Bad Wolves at least twice, I want to say. I know I heard Zombie, their cover of the Cranberries, and that was very good, but it was more rocky than I would assume it would be, because I know who Doc Coyle is. Doc Coyle is one of the guitar players in Bad Wolves. He also has a podcast called The X-Men. You can check that out on SoundCloud. It's a pretty badass podcast. I've been listening to it a lot lately. That's kind of what inspired me to check out Bad Wolves and see what kind of shit he's creating now. If you didn't know, Doc Coyle was actually in God Forbid, which back in my day was a big fucking band. I mean, we all dug God Forbid. It was very heavy and fucking in your face. And they kind of went off and did a little bit of the metalcore sound where they got more melodic, tried to kind of catch up to what Killswitch Engage was doing. But I thought they were great before they started doing that. I thought they were doing exactly what they should have been doing. But hey, it's not my place to tell people what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing. But I like the older band as opposed to when they went for the metalcore sound. It sounded derivative, and you got to be careful with that shit. Otherwise, you disappear into the fold of all the chaos that's going on, and those other bands are still around. Well, God forbid isn't. It is what it is. Essentially, though, he said this is more of a rock project. He said this is more of like mainstream type thing. They play with shows with fucking Shinedown and like Five Finger Death Punch and bands like that, and I did a Five Finger Death Punch review a long time ago, and a lot of people didn't know that song was a cover, which is fucking retarded. The song was a fucking cover. Gone Away is a goddamn cover, all right? But I didn't hate Five Finger Death Punch. I definitely don't like some of their fucking fans. I'll tell you that right off the fucking bat. Some of these people are just full of shit. They know nothing about music, and they know nothing about even the band that they're listening to. Which is kind of irritating, but I guess that's how music is, I'm not saying that all the fans are like that, but some of them. I mean, there's probably more than a few douchebags in the Five Finger Death Punch camp. Not the band. Once again, I thought Jason Hook's a fucking great guitarist. I don't even mind Ivan Moody's voice. I think he's got a good fucking voice, but I'm not into their music. There's something about it that just doesn't do it for me. I mean, it doesn't feel like a band I would get into. And I've listened to entire albums trying to see, what's the hub and bub about this band. It just, I get that they're very mainstreamy, and that's kind of some of it, that they're more aimed towards a wider audience. And there's nothing wrong with that. We need bands like that. We absolutely, in the metal community, need fucking bands like that. It's impossible to get around and fucking have other bands come up if there isn't a gateway band opening the door and letting new kids in. We need these people to come listen to other metal, because they'll listen to Five Finger Death Punch, and then maybe they'll find Soilwork, or maybe they'll find In Flames, or maybe they'll find whatever it is. This is very important. Avenged Sevenfold's another one of those bands that I actually really like. Avenged Sevenfold, pretty much always have, because they're a prog band that somehow made it onto the fucking radio, which is crazy. Some people think they're a rock band. It's like, what are you fucking talking about? Listen to Backcountry. Listen to Backcountry. Tell me there isn't sections of Backcountry that you would find in like a Rush album where there's these weird trippy moments and fucking there's great progressions, and then the harmonies are that of like old school power metal, which was, I think everybody called it fucking prog back in the day when Iron Maiden was doing it. But now, since Iron Maiden's power metal, it's not prog anymore. No, power metal and prog are basically, they're hand in hand. They're the same thing. Prog is just a very extreme version of power metal. But even then, Opeth doesn't sound anything like power metal, and they're prog as fuck. So it's just an education thing. But let's check this out here. We're going to get to the video. I'm fucking rambling here. Bad Wolves Learn to Live official music video. Let's see what Doc's been up to here. Some of these tracks. You know, the other ones I heard I didn't think were very heavy, but hopefully we got some heaviness because, I mean, yeah, he's a badass riffer. So I want to hear some badass riffery. Let's check this out. Here we go. Oh, that shit sounds like it's tuned to, like, G sharp. Yeah, this is very different from the other shit I heard. Oh. That's a cool fucking riff. Very genty. Oh. Tommy Vex has such a cool voice. Such a big motherfucker too. God, he's a giant. Looks like a defensive linebacker. Very predictable song structure, but that's a good thing, I think. I think it gets the listener really engaged as to what's going to happen. Good foreshadowing. We got some synths in the background, really accenting the chorus. I'm digging this track. I think this one's really good. Whoa. This is like somewhere between hardcore and gent. That's almost like a genty soil work vibe going on here. This chorus is really good. It's got a cool fucking voice. Fits this really well. Okay, yeah, okay. I get it. I get it now. I get it. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, yeah. So the other two tracks that I heard from Bad Wolves were definitely more on the rock end. They were more melodic, more kind of what you'd expect. That was awesome because it just shows the diversity this band is capable of, and I think all great gateway bands have that diversity, but none of them have had it to where when they're heavy, they're really fucking heavy. And when they're melodic, they're really fucking melodic. And when they want to do the rock thing, they do the rock thing super well. And, fuck. Bad Wolves does all three. They do a great fucking job. I can't, I have no complaints about that. I mean, there was no solos. I mean, maybe that's the only thing that might have been kind of cool to have a solo in there, but I mean, the choruses were catchy and projected, and his voice fit perfectly, and the verses were heavy and guttural, and it had a cool breakdown. I don't know. Maybe I'm just fucking honeymooning it a little bit, but it was fucking awesome. I will say Bad Wolves is one of those bands that people better be on the lookout for, because I think they're gonna be one of the biggest bands out there. Because that was, I mean, think about the amount of people that they can reach by getting the heavy guys like myself into music that is also, you know, maybe on the more rock on sometimes. So their album seems like it's super diverse. Yeah, fuck, that was awesome. That was just fucking awesome. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, and laters.